right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to support group. So glad to have you live streaming today, and just wanted to let everyone know that is present here today in person that we do a live stream, and we have this little microphone where patients can hear your comments. That's so that anyone that joins us live can participate in the conversation and hear what you have to say, because truly I'm here to guide the conversation, but the best conversations are when you guys comment on your experiences. That's really what makes this very valuable for other patients. So I invite you to don't be shy. Of course, you can share as much or as little as you want to, no pressure. But the more we talk and the more we hear about other people's experiences, I feel like the more we learn. So that's what this is for. Now, you guys have been awesome from day one. I've never had any issues, but I still thought it would be smart to have some ground rules, which I wrote down and put on that pad over there. And for those of you live streaming, you can't see it, but I'll read it out loud for you. So the first thing is that this is a safe space, okay? You can be as honest as you want to. If it's something positive, if it's something negative, of course, if it's something negative, always trying to talk about things in a respectful way. I think it's good for you to feel safe with telling anything that might be negative, because this is the right place to bring that up, because anyone that has gone through a similar experience as you can tell you what they've done or what's worked for them and cheer you up. If that's kind of, sometimes we need someone to cheer us up a little bit, get us going. So that's the first ground rule. And respect confidentiality, of course. So share the ear. So keep comments relevant. If we're on a specific topic, try to kind of stay within that topic. And sometimes when I ask a question, some other ideas come up that you want to share, and that's great. Feel free to comment. But if it's anything that's way out of the topic, I'll just probably say, okay, let's hold off on that comment, and maybe we can talk about that towards the end of the support group or something like that, or whenever is more appropriate. Oftentimes you guys get ahead of me. I have all these things planned to talk about, and then you start talking about it without me even asking you the question. So listen generously. Okay, and I know this can be hard for some people, and for other people it comes out naturally. So don't interrupt. If someone is sharing their thoughts, I think it's good that we definitely listen and not interrupt the person, so that person feels safe in this space and feels like he or she can share what they have in their minds. Silence all electronics, of course. If you have a phone call, text message, go ahead and take it, but we would ask that you just step outside to talk on your phone. And respect cultural differences. We have all different backgrounds. Doesn't matter if most of us were even born here in America. We have very different backgrounds, so it's important that we remember that. So when someone's talking about their experiences, we all have different upbringings, so it's important that we definitely make sure that we're respectful in that sense as well. Okay? All right, enough of the ground rules. Let's get on started with the topic today. Today, I wanted to talk about, the title I did for this one is A New Journey. Okay? So what I'm going to be asking about is mainly those first few months after weight loss surgery. I think it's good for us to debrief about that, talk about how we feel, the experiences that we've had. Now, this is not just going to be valuable for those that are shortly post-op. Anyone that's way post-op, 2 years, 3 years plus, you are super valuable in this conversation, because anyone here that's shortly post-op, that's going through difficult times, if you've already gone through that and you were able to push through that, you're going to be able to give them the advice, the feedback, the support that they need to get through these big changes. Okay? So during the first few months after weight loss surgery, patients definitely go through a lot of emotions and experiences. a lot of questions sometimes pop up in patients' heads, like, what have I done? That can happen, right? Kind of second guessing a decision, and that's normal and that's understandable because it's a big step, right? Will I ever be normal again? That can be another one, right? Or what can I eat? That's a big one too. It's like we hear so much what you need to avoid that sometimes we get confused and we don't even know what we can eat. So a lot of big questions. So the first question I have for you guys, anyone that's shortly pre-op or if you're long-term, post-op, what were some of those big questions or big thoughts or experiences that you had that you want to share with us? Yeah.
I'm a month out.
Okay.
And I don't have energy. I am still struggling to get my energy back.
Okay.
Do something for a half hour and then I'm done for an hour. Will that get better?
Okay. Anyone here had that experience? Mm-hmm.
I'm almost 10 years out, and I did have that experience. My husband can attest to that. It does get better, and you just have to remember that your body is still healing. Just like any other major surgery that you've ever had, it's going to take time for your body to catch up with your mind saying, hey, I want to go do this. And just give your body time. It usually takes anywhere from 3 months to 3 months or a little more for your body to not be so tired anymore. Because you're still in that healing process.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I would interject,
Mm-hmm.
or saying over here, sorry, is dehydration can make you feel like that as well. So go back and just make sure that you're drinking enough, because dehydration will just suck the energy out of you. Make sure you're getting enough protein, and make sure you're getting enough vitamins. So just go back to the basics and make sure that you're covering all 3 of those bases, and the rest will come with time. But I have had patients, I can't put a time frame on it, but I know I've had patients for weeks, even a couple of months, that complained of just being wiped out. But it does get better.
I'm just not used to it. I've had 11 orthopedic surgeries. I did my right knee 3 years ago, outpatient, and
Yeah.
this has knocked me for a loop.
Mm-hmm.
And this changed nutritionally everything.
Well, and
right?
I had some complications after surgery and ended up the week in the hospital, but it was just one of those things you sign away, and I had some internal bleeding, so I know all that contributes to it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
Right.
frustrating.
Anyone else has had a similar experience, lack of energy after surgery? And
Yeah, I did. I
Mhm.
was in the market trying to shop. I had to leave the cart there and go find me a spot to sit down before I pass out. Because I would get dizzy. Then
Mhm.
all of a sudden, just like I get up the next day, move around, and I go in the kitchen. I get completely dizzy and pass out.
Okay.
Now,
So
that one, I was like, I don't know what that was from.
okay, passing out is, I would say, probably a little bit more extreme than just your general tiredness.
But I was tired.
If that okay,
And then I just like, I literally, I was actually washing dishes. What I was doing was washing dishes.
right.
And I was like, whoa, God, if I was washing, and I only had
Welcome.
2 plates and a glass. And I was tired just doing that. And then
Mhm.
I went to move from the sink to go sit down. And I
Mhm.
just like, I
Mhm.
went down.
Just like Amy said, you have to first of all think through the basics that your surgeon and dietitian and nurses have taught, and just kind of make sure that you are doing all of those things. And if you still are doing all of those things, but you feel excessively tired to the point where you're feeling dizzy or even passing out, I think it's important that you reach out to your clinic, to your surgeon or nurse as soon as possible, if not probably today after support group, and just make sure, because sometimes we think we're doing all the things that we need to do, but when one of the clinicians kind of go over the checklist, they may remember something that maybe you forgot to do, or something that just kind of slipped your mind. We want to make sure that you're good, that you're healthy. So that's what I would suggest, to reach out if you feel like you're doing everything you need to do, but still that's getting to the point where you're getting dizzy and passing out, because that point is definitely more concerning.
We've got several people that are watching live on YouTube, which I'm happy about, given all the things, the events that are going on. So just know that we're still going to be supporting virtually. But there are a couple of comments I wanted to share, just so that everybody's getting to take advantage of the wealth of knowledge that we have from so many patients. So when the patient says, just listen to your body and your body's signals, because it will tell you when you're dehydrated. And she notes that that when she sometimes skimps on the protein, or maybe hasn't gotten as much fluid as she needs to, she feels like she feels that impact for 3 or 4 days afterwards. And then she talks about vitamins or iron and things like that. So making sure you're consistent again with vitamins.
And it's so much that you have to pay attention to, that it's easy for something to kind of slip your mind. So that's why it's important, definitely, that's how coming here is helpful. That's why you have to make sure that you have a good relationship, and you're not afraid of calling the clinic and just asking questions. They are happy to answer questions and double check and make sure that things are going well for you. So if you're unsure, if you're feeling kind of iffy and you have questions, call them and kind of talk it through, and that way you can make sure that everything's okay. And if there's anything concerning, that they would let you know, and go from there. But yeah, that's great feedback. Thank you for commenting. Keep on commenting, because we have Amy with a laptop over there. She's reading all the comments. So if you have any questions or anything at all, type it in and we'll make sure to read it out loud. Okay.
And then one more thing, sorry, that I would share about that too, about the dizziness and things like that, is a lot of our patients have experienced high blood pressure or diabetes before having the procedure done, and those levels can fluctuate, right? Our goal is to get everybody off their medicines if we can, but those numbers can fluctuate, which could cause dizziness and things like that. So just make sure that you're monitoring yourself well.
All right.
Good. Okay, so anyone experienced an impactful experience shortly after surgery? Maybe something that was a aha moment for you, or something that kind of got engraved in your brain, any change, any specific emotion or an experience that you had that you want to share with the group?
Good or bad?
Yeah.
Well, I was excited about my surgery, so I was pumping myself up the whole time. And afterwards, when I started eating, introducing food, I was just, wow, I can only eat a half cup and I'm satisfied. I don't need all this food. And I was amazed at, because of the fasting and purees and everything, and how much, even just like taking a little baby spoonful of something, the flavors like exploded on my tongue.
Okay.
I'm so used to eating so fast that I never really tasted my food.
That's a good one.
Wow,
Yeah.
This is really good. It was a totally different experience.
Yeah, and I know that taste buds also can change. So for good or bad, some people may no longer like the taste of foods that may not be so healthy, and they suddenly like better the taste of foods that are healthier. It can go either way.
Sweets were too sweet.
So you see, that's a good thing.
Well, it was early on. The needs are changing to wants, so I'm struggling with that now.
Yeah.
But, I used to not really care for crunchy foods, and now I like crunchy stuff a whole lot better.
Yeah.
And I don't want pudding, I don't want anything like that. I want something like texture, yeah.
I don't know, it's incredible to me how something so little, that you would think so little, as taking your time to eat your meal, chewing properly, you can have a totally different experience at the mealtime. And that's one of those things that is very important to be successful in the long term, is take your time, chew properly. So just kind of side note there. That's awesome.
I had the same experience. sweets or this. I mean, even if something that says there's no sugar or whatever, it just, you can actually taste the sweet of that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just seemed like it was just more overpowering than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I find as a taste of what I'm not so much a craving, but it's something that's more acidity, you know, vinegary or whatever, you know, lemony or you know, just something like that's like that I think I seem to be wanting.
Okay.
Yeah, wanting, because then again it helps with that. It makes me feel like from the nausea and stuff like that, because I am just a little over 2 weeks out.
Uh-huh.
That helps, in a sense, helps me settle, you know, as far as you know, that, you know, within that healing process and such, you know, to get over that, just that nausea or that this, you know, feeling.
Yeah.
It's not something that was this, you know, we're on a vinegary type or, you know, fermented type.
Right.
Thing, you know.
Right. It's very interesting how you have those experiences and how it changes. Your taste buds change. Your likings change.
But I think because the habit that we had before, or whatever, or anything that we had of the way we treated ourselves before, we think we can go right back to that. But and then if we do, then that changes, and that throws our mind thoughts, and that throws that like, oh Lord, I can't go back to that, or this ain't working for me at this time. You know?
And you see, I always say it, you guys get ahead of me, because we're definitely gonna talk about exactly what you're saying right now. So we'll definitely have a time to talk more about that today. So that's common. It's not, that's why we're talking about it. So yeah.
I got another one over here, Giselle.
Okay.
So one of our patients says, for me, it's the ability to exercise without being totally wasted with breath or energy. Ease and high that it gives me an adrenaline. It has become the most satisfying thing ever for me. And she says, most definitely, it has been her independence.
Ah, that is amazing. That's a great experience, yeah. Being able to exercise and not feel the fatigue or the tiredness, I mean, that's huge. That's huge. And for a lot of our patients, is the first time they can actually feel that way. Yeah, you're raising your hand, so.
Yeah, I think too, even with these energy, back to that too, which with the mobility is the same thing pretty much for me. But it was when I realized that I could move a little bit would actually help the tiredness. And I know that kind of sounds funny, but the more I moved, the less tired I felt. So I went, okay, I like this. So
yeah.
It was, you know, I was in the wheelchair, and I said, well, what can I do? Because I can't stand. I have 2 really bad knees. And I just said, just moving your arms, and watched some YouTube videos of chair exercises and started slow. Because in my mind, I wanted to get up and do everything all at once.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do that. And so people don't realize surgery is a heavy trauma on your body. And I had 3 surgeries in 16 months. So it was like, you know, one after boom, 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 and trying to recover from each. But again, the hydration was a big deal. And the timing of the food and water was difficult at first. It really was. I mean, I had to set a timer because I would just forget, because you'd just be sitting there. And then finally I had to take the water and take it aside and not put it on the table.
Yep.
Because it was just such a habit to keep reaching for something.
Right.
And there was another video I watched from another bariatric surgeon that would tell us to try to sit on your hands a little bit in between, set down the fork, and I kept doing that, so that helped a
To
lot.
force yourself not to reach out for that water,
to
yeah,
keep reaching
that's a great
when
one.
It wasn't time.
Uh-huh.
But, it was just that it was such a revelation for me that I could get up and move.
Yeah.
And just start, because I did have some low energy. But adjusted again, I called the dietitian, adjusted the water and the vitamins. You know, added some zinc and things like that I needed, and it really, really helped. You gotta really tweak it sometimes. But it can take 3 or 4 days after, if you get dehydrated, to really catch up.
And now that you're commenting that, I just you know, it reminds me what I've heard, what I've read, and now with you, it kind of confirms that the experience of every single patient can be totally different.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, of course, that you have in common. That's why these support groups are so helpful, but you can never compare your experience necessarily with someone else, because you know you're expressing the lack of energy, and then you're expressing the increase in energy. Eventually you guys are all going to the same place. You're all going to this healthier place. It's just you guys, every body takes a different route, and everyone has a different speed of recovery, you know, so everyone's different, and that's okay, and that is normal, and I want you to remember that, because it can get frustrating. I've heard frustrating comments from patients when they compare themselves, their experiences, with someone else's. So just remember that. That's incredible. That's
And
really
even
good.
with weight loss, people can compare, well, you know, how come you lost this, or I didn't do this, or.
Yep.
Because we're just all so different, you know, we're different, we're all different people, and thank goodness for that. It would be a boring world if we were all the same.
It would be, yeah, that's a good way to put it, right? We wouldn't have anything to talk about, because we all go through the same thing.
You know, there'd be a little book, and you could just follow, you know, all the
Yeah.
little things, and everybody could do that, but
Yep.
everybody's gonna have a different experience. But it
Exactly.
is nice to talk about it.
Exactly. Good. Anyone else want to share an experience that they thought was interesting to them after weight loss surgery? Anything that was impactful that you want to share? Okay. Another question, another good thing to think about for those that are shortly post-op is that neighbors, coworkers, friends will make comments and ask questions about your weight loss surgery. They may notice that you're losing weight, and they may want to give you some positive, you know, feedback, like, hey, you look great. Hey, you look like you've lost weight. You need to be prepared for that. You need to know that people are going to notice changes, whether good or bad, and you need to be prepared on how are you going to approach these comments, right? I think it's important that we think about this so that it doesn't catch you off guard if someone comes to you and asks you questions and you're like, you don't even know what to say. Some people are so ecstatic about their weight loss surgery that they will grab a megaphone and share it with the world. Some people don't. Some people, it's a very intimate, personal decision that they don't want to share with people, and that's okay. But that's why I want to make sure that the shortly post-op are thinking about, people could ask questions, people can say things, so positives or negatives, you know, there's all kinds of people out there, so you never know. It's important that you're prepared for that, and you think about how you're going to approach those comments or questions. Like, how much information do you actually want to share? That's very personal, and you don't have to feel like you have to share the whole world. If you don't want to, you don't need to. If you want to, and you feel that helps you stay motivated and makes you happy, then share as much as you want to, okay? But it's important that you know that you have autonomy over that, and you can decide whether or not you want to share, how much you want to share. So has anyone had any experience with that, where they've received comments, or they've heard comments, or have had people ask questions and maybe you weren't too sure how to answer that, or any uncomfortable feelings around that, or anything positive, you know, good or bad? Anyone has any experiences to share with that? Oh, go ahead.
Well, even before the surgery, I was always felt like sometimes I had to explain the way I was.
Yeah.
So now even afterwards, I do get the comments, good comments, you know, hey, you're looking good luck, you know, best wishes and all that. But I've never kept myself as a closed book, you know, and so it feels good to be able to share this, because I feel if I didn't share it, maybe somebody else that might be in need in some little way, you know, that might just need a little bit of encouragement. Maybe I could be that little small encouragement for them. Give them that little, to help them reach that little hope, you know. If it's just for that one little moment, you know, that's my desire.
Yeah.
That's my desire. I mean, you know, because, you know, I mean, for years and decades, when you felt like you wasn't accomplishing anything, and now you've accomplished something, it's not that I want to really truly brag about it, you know, and make myself so glorious about it. I want to give the glory comes from saying, hey, it's not from me, it's from the accomplishment, not just a, you know, from the surgery. You know, there was a lot of other people that had other things that got me this far, that helped me get this far. You know, like in the support groups and stuff like that, of listening to people. You know, that, you know, the first time I sat in a support group, I wasn't me. You know, me and my wife, there's been a couple that's done this. You know, to get, you know, first time I heard it, that's what inspired me to step forward and make that decision. You know, even though there's been a lot of tears, a lot of shouting, crying, you know, slamming doors, you know, wanting to give up, second guessing, as you already mentioned one time before.
Yeah.
You know, it makes a lot, you know, your emotions go to a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And being a man, it's hard to really say that at times. You know, but then again, I ain't got nothing to hide.
Right.
You know.
Hey, men have emotions. If they want to share it or not, that's a different thing. So yeah, that's really awesome. What you know, definitely sharing your experiences the same way other people sharing their experiences inspired you. You can inspire other people to want to make the decision to be healthier, whichever way it is. But yeah.
It's my testimony. It's part of my testimony. You know, and I know people me saying this right here, people may think that it's a spiritual thing. That's how I look at it. You know, and you know, somebody else may not look at it that way, but that's all right. You know, but it is a spiritual thing to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's a new part of me of getting, you know.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing. Who raised their hand first? Okay.
Prior to surgery, I think like all of us, somebody would give you a compliment and you go, thank you, but, and you know, pull yourself back down. You know,
Okay.
I don't like this, I don't like that. And for me, the hard part was just learning to say thank you and stop.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
No need to explain or say anything else, and just say thank you.
Yep.
And then that, you know, it got easier and easier. And if somebody would ask a question, I would answer it. I didn't feel like I had a need to explain. It's just thank you.
And how?
And that was hard to do.
How did that help you mentally? Just saying thank you.
I had to stop and tell myself that I'm okay. You know, I don't need to explain. It's all right.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter what size I am or what I'm wearing or anything. Just say thank you and accept it. They wouldn't be saying it if they didn't mean it.
Exactly.
So, you know, I had to, like I said, I knocked out that but at the end.
Yeah, I like that. Good job. I'm glad that you did that. That's good. I can definitely understand the wanting to give explanations, and like me personally, and I also feel that whenever I just decided to just give an answer without having to explain why or say thank you, I don't know, it just makes you feel a little bit more secure about yourself. At least that's my experience, so that's really good. I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah, I had an experience yesterday, as a matter of fact. I guess I haven't seen my mail lady in a while, and my mailbox is pretty far away from where my residence is, so, you know, during all my surgeries and everything, I used to have people get my mail and everything, and then she started to deliver it to me when she realized I was in a wheelchair. She would knock on my door and give me the mail. Well, I saw her yesterday, and I said, anything for me? And she goes, well, what unit are you in? I said, 120A, and she goes, oh, are you Miss Scott's daughter? And that was really a good compliment. And I was like, kind of, you know, I was like, well, what do you mean? I said, no, I said, I'm Miss Scott. She goes, you don't even look like you. She goes, I would have asked you for your ID. She goes, because, you know, unless you put the key in the mailbox, you know, they want you to show an ID or whatever when you're standing there. And then she proceeded to ask me, well, you know, how did you do this? And, you know, with some people, I think, like everybody in my church knows, because they did a fundraiser for me, so everybody, you know, the cat's out of the bag, as they say there. But, so compliments are, you know, are good. But there was another person standing there at the mailbox, and because I told them, I said, I had weight loss surgery, and the other woman said, oh, that explains that. And, oh, I just went from a happy mood to, oh, I got in my car, and I just, like, cried for a little bit. And I was like, you know, but why am I letting this get to me? I know what kind of work I put in. I know how hard it was, and it wasn't the easy way out.
Right.
As some people think, you know. And I think, too, it depends on how I know people. I think the best response, when somebody I don't know says something, you know, I would just say, I'm trying to get healthy. And that's how I did it. I'm trying to get healthy, because that leaves a hole.
And that's a very short, simple, you don't have to say anything else. Right.
You know, just change the way I eat, that's all, or say something like that.
But you know that is a total lack of understanding about the weight loss surgery.
Yeah.
These are people that have no clue how it's done, how people get to making the decision to get weight loss surgery, everything they have to go through to be able to be approved and to be successful long term. They have no clue, okay? So this is people just saying things without being informed.
Uneducated about
right,
it.
exactly.
Uneducated about obesity. You know, they think it's a loss of control, and they just, you know, they're just uneducated about it. So it's just, you know, I just have to say that to myself.
But I'm not blaming you for sitting in your car and crying, because those are natural emotions, and sometimes we need to either yell inside the car or cry real hard to kind of let those emotions go. But what I encourage you to do is get back into the state of mind that you were a few minutes before that, you know, and rub that off and let it go, because you know better. Yeah. Oh, so many hands. Okay.
Just quickly, I never had anybody say or not recognize me, but when I went in to get a new driver's license, get it renewed, they looked at it and they looked at me and they're like, this is you. And I'm like, yeah, I lost a lot of weight. And, you know, I mean, I thought, have I changed that much? You know, because you don't see, you know, I can still look in the mirror and see that old person.
Right.
But it was like, no, that's not you. I thought for a minute they weren't going to let me renew the license. You know, but it was like, wow.
Yeah. Well, that's a good comment.
Yeah,
I saw a hand over here.
Yeah, I was just going to say that my experiences after surgery have basically been positive. It was before surgery, when I was telling a few people at work that I was going to have surgery, some of my customers, and one of the ladies looked at me and she said, why go that drastic? Why not just diet? And I sat there and I looked at her and I said, I'm going that drastic because I've done the diets and the diets didn't work. I said, this is something that I feel will work for me. This is a path that God placed me on, and I made that emphasis on God because He did literally put me on this path to almost 3 years ago. This month actually.
Oh, okay.
So I owe everything that I've been through to God with this surgery, with getting healthy, with getting off of high blood pressure medicine, getting off of diabetic medicine, it's all owed to him. And
Yeah.
I can say that a lot of the gratitude goes toward the doctors and
Mhm.
all the help that I've had, but most of my gratitude goes towards God,
Mhm.
God,
Mhm.
because He put me on this path, and I just had to sit there and explain to her,
Mhm.
you can do what you need to do to try to lose the weight that you need to lose,
Mhm.
but I've been through all of that stuff,
Mhm.
and it didn't work for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
And once I told her that, she just sat there for a minute. She goes, well, good luck. And I said, thank you. And that ended the conversation right there. But sometimes you have to explain to someone
Mhm.
why you're doing what you're doing.
And I
And
think
then
it's
others-
good. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna
Don't
say that-
interrupt. Rule yourself.
and I was just gonna say, and then others are really happy and thrilled with you because they kind of know what you've been through.
Mhm.
You know, they're
Right.
close enough to you to understand it, like my church family was.
Right.
Like Bobby said, when you're in a family like that, they understand it more.
Mhm.
It's like with my dad, when I told him, I thought he was gonna have a lot of questions, and he just looked at me and said, well, I hope it works for you.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that to me was like the best thing that he could have ever said to me.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
I'm glad that happened.
Yeah.
And the the people that say comments like that, if you want to, you don't have to give any explanations. But if you want to, a good way to approach it is not necessarily just talk about you, but just tell them about, educate them about obesity. Like, you can take that moment to help them understand a little bit better everything that you know and experience it about it, and some that may be a moment, like you said, that sparks kind of someone to say, hey, I didn't know that, maybe I should explore that. Sometimes people are defensive because they don't know, they're afraid, they just don't know. But if you're okay with it, again, you don't have to, but if you're okay with it and you want to educate them, that can be a good opportunity to have someone maybe even go through that same path. So I saw this hand first, and then we go over there. Okay.
Well, I posted my picture on Facebook from the gala, right?
Yeah.
So my family don't live down here, so they didn't know that I went through this. So when they saw the picture, I got all these phone calls. Oh, you look good. You lost so much weight. I hope you don't gain it back.
Okay.
Because someone else in the family had the weight loss surgery, and they gained all the weight back.
Mhm.
Within 3 years, they gained the weight back.
Mhm.
So I said to the boy, I don't know about them. I'm not her. And I said, in all the trials and tribulations and hoops that I had to jump through, do you think I'm going to put any weight back on? I said, bad enough, I don't even put food in my mouth. I said, you done lost your mind. I said, so now, I'm hanging up. Don't call me no more unless y'all got some money for me. That was it.
There you go.
That was the end of my conversation. I ain't hear no more. Every time they see me, oh, Portia, you look good now. You look so good. Oh
Yeah.
my God, you look so good. Girl, you gonna be skinny. Then I said, yeah, I'm gonna wear my bikini. And then my significant other said, well, I'm gonna have to put the lock on the outside of the door so I can't let you out the door. I was like, really? Now you wanna lock me in the house? I'm good. I gotta go.
Now, I'm the
Doctor's
opposite.
appointment.
I only told my husband and my adult children, and I haven't told another soul.
Mhm.
When they wonder what happened, I told them I had a hiatal hernia repair, which is true,
Mhm.
and that I had complications,
Mhm.
and I had been trying to lose weight for a year, and it took them a year to even notice any of it. So I just feel like it's none of their business. At this
Mhm.
point, I'm not willing to share that.
Mhm.
I wondered if anybody else, everybody seems really comfortable with sharing it. I just figured I could go the rest of my life and never tell them if I don't have to, because I don't want the it's easy way out, or, oh, well, you could have done this.
Yeah, I think, like I said, at my church, everybody knew because they did a fundraiser for me and everything. But as I talked to individual people that came up to me, there was one person that was really inspired, and they actually had their weight loss surgery last month because of me, and I thought that was just so cool. So there's it's a safe environment for me in there in church, so it's a little bit different than in the outside world, so.
Yeah.
I just thought that was good. I mean, like I said, they all already knew, because they even posted it in the bulletin, so. It was,
I just wondered if anybody else had not told anybody.
But, yeah, it's other people that on the outside, it take a long time to sell somebody.
I will say, out of the patients that I've taken care of, because I came from a very large center before here as well, and we actually had a lot of employees from the hospital that joined our program and had weight loss surgery. And, you know, it's like I've told the girls here, we never comment. Like, if we see somebody in the hallway, we never ever comment if we know. Because it's confidential. But it's interesting because, you know, I would round at the hospital and I'd be like, yep, that one did, that one did, that one. And some people just truly choose not to share. And a lot of them didn't. Some were very open and others were very private. But, you know, I would see them in clinic and I would know how they're doing, but then I'd pass them in the hallway and be like, hey, how you doing? And we would never comment about it. But there were many people who chose not to say anything. You know, and some people, like you said, will say, you know, I had a hernia repair, which is true, they did have a hernia repair. Some people would say that they had to have, you know, stomach surgery, but they wouldn't elaborate on it.
And reflux, I mean, I have my little list of what it did.
And many of our patients have it for reflux or gastroparesis or whatever, but even celebrities, you know, I know some that, you know, just through going through conferences or classes, like for example, when we used to do lap bands, there's many celebrities that have had the lap band surgery and they don't necessarily share. But it's, you know, I know some of them that did, and then I'll read articles about them on Facebook and they'll be like, I just made my health a priority and I just started eating better and exercising, and, you know, it's whatever they're comfortable sharing, you know?
Right.
There is another comment on YouTube also, and she says, I get questions all the time, I share every detail because I feel like if they need to change too, I can at least help to guide them to be healthier and to be more secure in their change.
Yeah, so it's a very personal decision, and you do what you want to do, and you don't do what you don't want to do. So that's how it is. That's why that's
the only one, like everybody.
Maybe in this group, but you're not the only one. So that's why I opened up the conversation that way, because there are a lot of patients that decide not to share it, or they just share it with their spouse and children, or just close family, or whatever it is. Yeah. I have a question for you, another question, and actually I have a lot more, but it sounds good. We'll see if we can get through it, but I want to make sure I ask this question. For anyone that's post-op, based on the experience that you've had so far, this may not apply for everybody. If you could go back to the past and tell yourself some kind of advice, or give yourself a heads up on something, what would it be? What would you tell yourself, the pre-op self?
That after you have the surgery, no matter how far out you are, stay away from the cars. Because they are enemies.
Okay, good. So that's the advice that you would give. Excellent. Anyone else? Have you ever given thought to that? Like, do you feel that did anyone here feel super nervous about something, and then when you went through the experience you felt like it wasn't as bad as you thought? Would you go back and tell yourself, hey, everything's gonna be okay?
I just wish I'd done it sooner, you know.
Oh.
All these years of, you know, the self-hate and no confidence in myself or self-esteem. I mean, it you know, did a 180 after the surgery. Why, I wish I had the insight and knowledge to have done it sooner.
So you would have told yourself to do it sooner.
That this really does make a change. It did make a change in the way I felt about myself.
Mm-hmm. So you wouldn't have gone like pre-op. You would have gone way back in the past, like
Oh, yeah.
sooner years in the
Yeah.
past. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else that you would tell yourself if you could go back, give yourself any advice or any heads up or any comments at all?
Well, life just doesn't. I don't even know how to word it. Despite the changes and within the early starts and early looks, early comments, maybe later on down the road, it's still life.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So no matter how you do it, remember that. Hey, it's still life.
Mm-hmm.
The bills still come in. You still have to, still have to work for what you got to work for.
Right.
And you still got to do what you got to do.
Right.
But only you can make the difference.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
I had mine done 5 years ago, and I wish they thought I'd done it 50 years ago. And you're a different person, you eat different, live different, and thank God for it all.
Mm-hmm.
Got nothing bad to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody wants to get that personal, they can go to hell.
That's awesome. Yes.
I think I would have told myself, don't eat your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even I guess 20, 30 years ago, some of these surgeries, they weren't even available, and then when you heard about them, they sounded, a lot of people didn't make it even through surgeries.
Well, you get off them. I mean, like this, some of these women that go to these clubs that have. I had a sister that lost over 100 pounds. She got off out of that rope and she put it back on and then some. So she didn't gain nothing by that.
Mm-hmm.
This way, I don't see how you can put it back on.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't eat anymore.
Well, I think what happens is people, this lady shared at me at church who also had the same surgery, and gained her weight back. She's been real supportive, but what happens is they just pretty much eat all day long in small amounts.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still eat the wrong things in a small amount and gain weight.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a way to do it. There's people, you have to, it's not just because you can eat a small amount that you lose the weight. It's what we're actually eating too that makes the big difference. But I think, again, I would have, gone back and said, there's just behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
If you could just look at them and know how you got there. And think of those comments I got before. Look at her, she's in that, wheelchair in Walmart. Look at her, she's so fat she can't walk. Look at her. Things that just stay in your mind for so long. You just gotta really just let them go.
Mm-hmm.
And just take the good comments now. Just take them. Because you've had years of bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I would have, told myself. Just,
Yeah.
control your emotions too, and I guess realize that this was more than just losing weight. It's about more. It's really how your mindset was and how you got there.
Right.
If you can look at that, boy, you can just really change some things.
Mm-hmm.
Even without the surgery, you can do that. I think with some people, if they realize,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I saw something about there's a hypnotic bariatric surgery too, where they hypnotize somebody to eat less. I don't know about
Well,
that.
the mental piece is a big piece.
It's a
That's
big
why,
piece of it.
that's another reason why weight loss surgery is not the easy way out, because it's a tool that's going to help you with the weight loss long term, but you still have to work on all of those things that you were struggling before surgery. You still have to change. This is something that I wanted to talk about. We won't have time. I'll leave it for another support group. This is your best chance to change the way that you think about food, and this is the best chance. You get that chance, that kind of fresh start to change that mentality, and you no longer eat your emotions. You eat to nourish your body, and that takes a lot of work. It's hard, but it's absolutely possible, and I see it in a lot of our patients. It's that mental piece, kind of changing the way that you think.
It's up to the individual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Kind of that self accountability and looking into. Oh, good.
That's far.
Yeah, good job.
And
If
there are
it-
about 20 different flavors, and they're what, 21 grams of protein and like 120 calories.
Yep.
And there are about 20 different flavors, Crush bars.
So this, I actually we didn't even get through half of the first part of the page. What I'll do is, I'll continue this conversation in the next support group because I still have some good questions for you guys related to this. So, I'm gonna stop it here because we have, oh, sorry, hands up.
I just didn't want to miss one last comment from you.
Oh, yeah, sorry, okay.
Yeah, so there was a patient on here that said, that she wished that she could go back and tell herself that you're stronger than you know.
Mm-hmm.
And to remind herself, to have confidence in herself and not to give up.
Mm-hmm. That's
Wow.
awesome. That's awesome.
What I have to tell myself every day is not to give up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I made a mistake yesterday, I've got a new day coming to try and do better.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every day I need to try to do better.
Right. And I actually, what you just said, I try to tell my patients become your own coach. You get so much support from us and we're here for you, but when you become your own coach, when you kind of grow that inner giant inside of you that is going to help you say, no, don't give up, you've got this, push through. Patients that are able to do that have so much more success and keep the weight loss, long term. So what you're doing is you're becoming your own coach every day, and you're reminding yourself of why you're doing this, how you're gonna be successful long term, and that's super duper important. It's important that we practice it every day. Have you seen the videos of the kids? I'm strong, I'm beautiful. Yeah, maybe we should all get in front of the mirror and go like, I love myself. It's that is such that mental, I don't know, support. It's just to ourselves. It's super important. Yeah.
You're saying that. The other day I was at one of my exercise classes, it's an aerobic walking class, and I just, force myself to get up and go because I know I have to do it, but I always feel so much better. And pretty much for the whole class, as I'm doing all these, I'm going, I am strong, I feel good, I'm staying healthy, I am good,
Yeah.
I did this almost the whole way through the class because I thought, I'm just not into this today, I'm not here.
That's funny. All right, that's awesome. I'm gonna stop it here because we have to get ready for the weightlifting class, but thank you so much for your comments, and anyone that joined us on the live and YouTube and commented, that's awesome. We're gonna try to be able to keep doing this because we want you guys to be able to continue to participate in the conversation. All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye.